Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Backfire Simsport TV. And also, welcome to the BSTV TCR Challenge Series. We are in season 10. This is rounds 3 and 4 from the fabulous Daytona International Speedway and the road course layout. I'm Clyde Whiting, and as usual in the booth tonight, it is everybody's favourite grandad, and we're now voting for him to be the new king. It's Alan Toon.
Thank you very much, Clyde. That's a beautiful introduction. Good evening, everybody. Looking forward to this race tonight. Love this place, and should be exciting racing, folks. Bring it on.
It certainly should be. And alongside myself and King Alan in the booth are your cameraman for tonight, as usual. It's Mr. Sam Boozin. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Right, Alan. So we both find this track, I'm going to say amazing, because I really like it. I've been to Daytona on a number of occasions to watch the Daytona 500, which I know is the oval course. But I also like the road course, possibly because it's not difficult to learn, but can be difficult to master. Especially, I always quote turn one. I can do a 200 lap race and take turn one at 200 different ways. The bus stop as well. It's, I say the track's not difficult, but it's one of those tracks that we always say you can get too comfortable with it and it can bite you on the arse.
I'm glad you think it's so easy, because it's me. The times I've come off this place at turn one, legendary. This one where we're going back onto the oval, left-hander. Talk about Spin City. I'm nearly always spinning there like a top. But you're right. It's a delicious track. It's got real rhythm, and it's got this huge chunk of an oval in the middle, which doesn't actually seem to upset it. The road part is lovely. It makes you want to overdrive, because the corners are you want to push them as hard as you can, get on the edges. If you don't know the track, you can be in problems, but I think everybody here will know it well, and I'm expecting it to be pretty tight racing and very exciting.
Yeah, obviously lots of people have done lots of laps around this track, be it in league racing, official racing, Raw before the 24, the Daytona 24. I think people know this track like the back of their hands, but can still get caught out. Let's quickly get you up to date as qualifying runs down, because qualifying's not that important tonight because of the draft fest that it will be. Last time we was here at this 3.56 mile track was in season 7, and Sam Blees won in TCR in a Hyundai Elantra and also took the lap record, which was a 157.026. We've had 2 rounds so far. I won't read out the numbers, but the Drivers' Championship led by Spencer McCarthy, then Stephen Walker, then Sam Blees. Team Championship, Geodesic Racing, then Spectre 6 Purple, then Team Chimera. Driver of the meeting, Sam Blees, Stefan Goebel, Spencer McCarthy, all on 1 vote. Last time out we was at Okayama. Sprint race and feature race, our new format, and we had the same results in both races. Sam Blees first, Stefan Goebel second, and Spencer McCarthy in third. Okay, so qualifying is over. Let me get your starting grid for round 3. Spencer McCarthy for Geodesic Racing takes the pole. Carl Hardy in second for Safeguard by Results. Third, Sam Blees, Geodesic Racing. Fourth is Simon Trendle for Team Chimera. And fifth is Stephen Walker for Spectre 6 Purple. Spectre 6 Silver's Russell Cowell in sixth, with Jamie Wilson, Team Chimera, in seventh. Matt Elmore for Spectre 6 Silver in eighth, and Matt Flannery, Geodesic Racing White, in ninth. Stefan Goebel for VTS Esports in 10th, and Jason Haddington for RWC Racing Blue in 11th. 12th is Arnaud Chenonnier for RWC Racing Red. JB Dejoux for BSTV Esports Blue in 13th, with Chris Needham 14th for RWC Racing Red. 15th is Tony Walker for Spectre 6 Purple, and 16th is Roger Morton for Safeguard by Result. 17th, Andy Littler for Spyro by Result, and rounding out your grid, and I think he has managed to reconnect, it's Shane Powell for Spectre 666. Right, that was a mouthful. Probably need a drink now. So, Alan, just for the viewers, anybody that hasn't seen our new format, the guys are about to start a 30-minute sprint race. There will be a very brief break of about 5 minutes to allow drivers to go for a foggy, and then we have a 60-minute feature race. Starting order for the feature race is the finishing order of the sprint race, with the top 8 cars reversed. So the safety car is about to get us underway. It looks like we are halfway down the back straight, so not too far to go. I think the cars go through the bus stop. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to call it the bus stop anymore, am I? It's the Le Mans chicane now.
Oh, right.
Some weird and wonderful tie-up with Le Mans. Le Mans have renamed, I think it's a chicane there, the Daytona chicane or something like that.
Oh. Well, I suppose that's cute. That's a friendly kind of thing. Hands across the ocean, international handshake. What do you reckon?
Something like that, yes.
So, delighted to see Carl up there on merit. But he goes well round here, you know, Carl, particularly with his likes his place a lot.
I think on merit is a stretch of the imagination, Alan. We know these drivers will have been drafting like mad, won't they, in qualifying?
Nonsense.
So,
Oh, man. You little faith.
yeah. Okay.
Delighted.
So,
Look where he is. Come on.
pace car is in. Lights are on, and Spencer McCarthy takes us away down into treacherous turn 1.
Old tyres.
Old tyres, snaky car, lots of cars, but he says, taken very sensibly by everybody. Somebody out wide there.
Really good start. Could have been a bit awkward, but no. Everyone's got their sensible heads on, and nice echelon for me.
Yeah, some of these cars have had a bit of an update since the last round, and there's a lot of discussion on which car is the best now, but we're not really going to find that out unless this draft train manages to dissipate, which is quite difficult round here, because you can get nearly 2 seconds back and still pull just enough of that toe to get back up to the car in front. But I think, Alan, what we'll probably see is a lot of drivers trying to oh no, they won't, will they? Because we're in a sprint race. There's no pit stop. I was going to say drivers trying to save fuel, but that will come in the feature race.
No. This is the guys will be going trying to get every advantage they can, weren't they, out of the ground, because you know, it's a short race, and it'll be trying to break the toe. And I mean, the only advantage you can get is if you can actually make a little gap and break that toe. If you can do that, then you can do something, can't you? Otherwise, you're just taking everybody with you. And but You've still got to get past somebody.
Exactly. That's. I think a lot of the time around here, that can be facilitated by either a mistake from the car in front, a shall we say a bold move from the car behind,
Like that.
yeah, or sometimes just, we've seen it so many times. You just put your car in a position where the car that you're overtaking, you're giving them a decision to make. Do you really want to turn in and possibly both of us go off, or are you just going to yield this position to me and try and come back at me?
Oh, flashy lights.
Yeah, a lot of flashy lights there.
Yes, of course, we've got some intelligent drivers who know the score. And are well equipped to make judgment calls like that, because the one thing that you want to do is finish a race by hook or by crook. A short race like this is kind of like it's like they're unleashed, isn't it? They're let off the hook, they're all excited, they've been doing laps, and they can go out and it's half an hour race. They can go out, push the limits, push the margins, see what happens, and just enjoy it in a more light-hearted way than you can the feature race. And I get the kind of it. They always feel a bit jovial and sprouty, these races, to me. I'm liking them.
It's obviously a good bunch of drivers. That helps. We're currently watching Shane Powell try and make his way up through the field. Not quite sure what happened to Shane. He didn't actually set a time in quali, and I see he'd had a disconnect and managed to reconnect before the start of the race, so maybe he was having some technical issues as they think about going 3 wide.
Whoa.
That never ends well, but a good recovery.
Yes, poor Shane. He must be not the ideal start to a race, getting onto the grid in the last seconds, and not his ideal preparation.
No, but if he has got the speed in the car, and he can use the toe wisely, I would guess his target, he's up to 13th from 18th, his target will probably be 8th, to try and get it all back with that reverse pole for the feature race.
Yes, well, Russell and Matt, Jamie, that's kind of his territory, isn't it? But look where Stefan is. Stefan's what I would call a bit out of place with the way he's been racing recently. So I'm surprised he's in 10th.
Yeah, it can be difficult to do anything, can it? I think a lot of the overtakes that we're going to witness will be obviously in the feature race and done during the pit stop cycle.
Yes, well, yes, like you say, one of the best ways to get past them is by not having to do it at all, by somebody making a mistake. And these guys on this track, even though it can throw up surprises and you can overdrive it, I don't expect people to be caught out. I think there's a bit too many wise old heads on the track for that to happen. So you've got to make something happen, and it's kind of like increments, isn't it? You're thinking in terms of almost like an oval racer, because the drafting and slight increments.
Oh, there's a mistake. There's a mistake from the leader. Turn 1.
Wow.
And he's definitely lost 2 positions, maybe 3.
He's got in the front of Simon.
He only lost the 2. I see him take that wide entry into turn 1 that people like. Teammate Sam Blease was up the inside, and then I think it all went a little bit wrong when he tried to put his foot down.
Probably a bit swift, because that's one of my major things, getting on the gas too soon. very easy to lose it. In this,
Yeah,
but,
I must admit I favour the shallow entry into turn one. It's slower, but I find it safer.
I favour the one that actually appears in front of me. It's not normally within my hands. It doesn't seem to be anyway.
Evening to Jason Morris on the chat. I was expecting a sign up from Jason, which never came. He's interested in running in the TCR series.
Come on, Jason. It's well out here.
Oh, new order is Sam Blees in first, Carl Hardy second, Spencer McCarthy down to third.
I don't suppose Spencer's going to be worried.
No, I fear for Carl more than anybody.
Well,
Just because he's a lone soldier up there. You know, Spencer and Sam can try and work together. You know, to maybe get... Oh, that's going to be Matt Flannery. And that's turn one. Yeah. It was as if he... cars scattering to try and get past. It was like he thought he was carrying too much speed in there, really slammed on the brakes, caught out Stefan, maybe.
Yes. Wow, just circumstances, wasn't it? Everybody coming together at slightly different closing speeds. Oh, goodness me.
Now then. But I think Spencer has tried to go up the inside.
Oh, Carl saw him then. Oh.
Yeah, and then I don't think Spencer could hold it on. That was 50-50 for me, I think. I'm just looking at it again. Yeah. Carl jumped out of the way.
Yeah.
But I think he expected Spencer to hug that apex, and he didn't. Well, Jason tells us he's had man flu for the last 4 days. That's why he hasn't signed up, but he'll be with us next week.
Ah, good.
Carl's took a dislike to the cones. And Simon Trendle is putting the pressure on Sam Blees. Stephen Walker putting the pressure on Carl Hardy. Switching sides. Jamie Wilson there in fifth. Ready to pick up any pieces.
Bash and crash. But yes, there's no way of avoiding it. You know, these guys are racing on the edge, and it's side by side. They're competing for every apex. You're just going to get a bit of door rubbing. You are, and let's hope it just stays at that kind of level and nobody takes a real bad hit because of a bit of a door rub or something.
Yeah, the trouble with this track though, Alan, isn't it, that, you know, probably 60-70% of it is high speed, so, you know, a door rub can turn into a catastrophe very, very quickly.
It sure can. And you've got this, I think the steepest banking in iRacing as well, haven't you? It's fortunately the people have been very sensible about that and not going side by side up there. I find that very scary. I've been 3 abreast up there. It's very scary when people do that to you, isn't it?
Yeah, I probably one of my scariest moments on iRacing was 5 wide into turn 1.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle, which is never the good place to be.
Oh. Yes, I find 3.
Stefan is backwards.
No damage, nothing, just a few seconds, but yes. 3 wide around there is intimidating enough. It's a very intimidating corner. When I first started, I found it a very intimidating corner. Never quite known where to put the car, and with other people who are very secure in their line on either side of you, you know, because it's possible to do it. And yes, and then of course easily outbraking you.
Yeah, Simon Trendle was last of the late breakers there into turn 1. You could see the back of his car twitching. Evening to Martin Brennan and David Ayres on the chat.
Evening, gents. Yes. Well,
let's have a look.
Simon is great on his brakes, isn't he? He's very smooth generally, and makes it all look very simple.
What happened to Stefan? Oh, he's lost it going into the bus stop and caught that curb. But
yeah,
luckily didn't catch anybody else.
No, neatly done. Didn't panic.
This front battle is fascinating me at the moment.
Well, you know, it's like a NASCAR draft fest at the front, isn't it? When they get onto the big oval, where you're trying to grab every 10th, get it into as much toe as you can.
Yeah,
then of course,
this could be the most important part of the track. Your exit from the bus stop to see if you can do something into turn 1.
Well, the bus stop's important, isn't it? And if you don't get a good exit, you paid for it for a long way. And
Jamie Wilson is in the boot of Stephen Walker. Simon Trendle is looking for a gap between Sam Blees and Carl Hardy.
Oh, look at that.
And I'll tell you something else, Russell Cowell and Matt Elmore are getting into this battle as well. We're going to have 7 for the lead shortly.
Oh, that is quite a group, isn't it? And a lot of those very nice yellow and green cars there. And both of the Himera cars as well.
This is a bit of a gangbang, isn't it? These yellow cars.
Sam and poor old Carl. Oh, well, they'll probably be doing temporary partnership, presumably, because they're well outnumbered. Wow, that's quite a sight. And they've managed to create a gap.
Yeah, there's a big gap back to JB Dejoux, who currently sits in the reverse pole position. So David Ayres is now telling lies on the chat by saying he was managing to keep up with these guys in practice.
Well, David knows this track very well, equally. He does.
No. Did Mr. Walker jump out of the way there? Or is he just going back to join his teammates for some reason? No. Did he just not like the racing up the front?
No.
Has he got a technical issue?
Oh, I do hope not. It's losing places.
So this is the battle for the reverse pole in the feature race. I've outbraked myself into that corner so many times.
It's almost traditional in the family.
JV giving Shane plenty of room there. Very respectful racing from both.
Very nice paint. And that Spectre 6 car, I think. I do like that. These cars are always well turned out. no quarter given here, and they're racing hard, aren't they? I love this because it doesn't matter whereabouts they are in the field. It's everybody's going at it, hammer and tongs. It's 30-minute race. Everybody wants to race. They're gritting their teeth and spending very little time with the accelerator away from the metal.
Yeah, JB Dejoux now falling into the clutches of Arnaud Chenonnier. But I think JB again, he doesn't particularly, light the timing tower up, but for improvements, he's quite a fighty driver now. If you make a move on JB, you've had to work for it.
Well, he's up 4 spots and he's in the top 10. I would say he'd be very happy with that. I would be delighted with that. So I'm pretty sure JB's happy with that as well. He'll be happy right at the moment, and they'll be hoping he can keep that position, a top 10 position. Good. Oh no, first thing. It's typical.
Good battle here. Carl Hardy, Simon Trendle. Carl
Yes.
Hardy is setting this battle up on doing that really wide entry into turn 1 on every lap, and that's just giving him a lot of speed to try and get a move on Simon Trendle with just a tad over 11 minutes to go in this race. And that has allowed Sam Blease to pull a little gap, but that will disappear. You can actually see it coming down on the timing tower.
Yes. I'm sure that Simon will be able to pull back on Sam, and that's just going to tear everybody else up, because he's certainly not going to draw Carl at the moment. Carl's driving as well as he's ever driven, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, I think Simon's in a bit of a tricky position at the moment, isn't he? He wants to fight Sam, but he knows he's got a very fighty Carl Hardy behind him.
Yes. But he's got excellent pace, hasn't he? And like you say, he's great on the brakes, is Simon. That's what you need at this place. You don't want to be out-braked going into T1. It's just one of the major places where somebody will put a move on you if you're an inch out of position.
Yeah. Now, Carl couldn't take his wide entry there because Jamie Wilson was already there.
Yes.
And
Now, have they clocked what he's doing?
I think we'll clarify at some point, hopefully, that Stephen Walker got a slowdown. And it was one of those monster ones that just are really difficult to clear, because he's actually dropped 3.5 seconds off the back of his teammates.
Goodness me. Oh, Stephen, that's awful, mate.
Could be wrong, he could be having technical issues, but
I do hope not. I hope nothing's happening, he's just having a quick sandwich.
He lost the toe, and obviously that gap is just going to go out and out and out and out.
Yes. There's still time, and if he concentrates, you could still make some. Mind you, Stefan's down there as well.
Yeah, the trouble is you can only make up places for the cars that you're in the tow of.
Yes, and well, if you've got a clear pace advantage, you can always get by, can't you? If you're in the tow, people, and you've got a pace advantage, you can always use that with the tow to get by. It's when you're coming up with somebody who's, within tenths of your time per lap. How on earth do you ever get by them? Because you can't drop them. They're going to be effortlessly in the tow. So you've got to get by. It's all down to the braking. Having that split-second timing where you can leave it to the last second and insert the car in front. And we see these guys do that. We see these really smart overtakes where there's almost no time and no room, and they just manage to slot the car in seemingly out of nowhere. So, and that's really what you've got to do. It's really that difficult when you're racing against people as good as this, because their car's always going to be in the way.
Yeah, Matt Elmore has dropped off the back of this pack as well, and I'm not sure whether that was a slowdown or whether he has dropped back to try and tow teammate Stephen Walker back into the battle, because that is something that you can do around here.
Yes. So you wouldn't think Stephen, well, I suppose working together they might save a little bit, but you wouldn't think Stephen would need much help, to be honest.
He's not going to catch anybody with no tow, that's for definite.
Yes. Bit of company doesn't hurt. This it's interesting, isn't it? Because this is going to feed into the feature race as well. This the way this is panning out.
Yeah, this is the new battle for the reverse pole.
Well, I wonder if people are starting to think about the reverse pole and where exactly they're going to be. Because clearly, if you've got a good start and a good position on pole, that's going to set you up. Because there's not been a huge amount of overtaking, has there? Just
No, my concern though is, Daytona's the same in a road race or an oval race. You don't want to be in the lead because you're the one using all the fuel.
Yes.
The winner of the feature race is surely going to be the one that can save the most fuel and thus have the shortest pit stop.
Yeah. Well, we know how good all of these people are at watching the fuel gauge. They were better at than saving, but they're all very aware of the fuel situation, aren't they? They know that it's a tactic that people are using anyway. Now, some of them just haven't got the patience or the technique or the desire. It compromises. Yeah, well, it kind of compromises your driving style, doesn't it? To be able to do that, you've got to have a severe amount of self-discipline. You have, and if you're a bit of a rip-roaring, roity racer, it's very difficult to hold the right foot.
Yes, most definitely. It's just so tempting, isn't it, to go flat out. I've seen many a V8 race won with a driver that has worked out that if they do a certain lap time every lap, they save just the right amount of fuel and take away the victory. A guy called Mike Taliancic was very, very good at that.
Yes, well, we've got good people in this field who are good at it, haven't we?
Well, we're inside the last 5 minutes.
And they'll have learned, everybody's learning.
Did.
I suppose the conditions will carry forward. Everybody's learning off this about fuel use actually in a race and tyre wear. So this is good news for everybody. It's handy, isn't it? It's just exactly half the length race, so it's perfect for getting data.
Yeah, it's whether they use the data or not. That's the the interesting part.
Well, you were right about this group staying together. Carl's, they haven't been able to drop Carl, and we know that Simon have probably, have got a couple of tenths on him generally. But
yeah, David Ayres on the chat, he may have hit the nail on the head. He was saying Jamie and Simon were boxing Carl on the straight, a tactic that they'd tried in practice to cancel out the benefit of the toe. Sorry about that, I've just seen Jason Haddington disappear into a tyre stack.
Oh, no.
Now, he was battling with JB Dejoux, I think. Yes.
Oh no, Jace. Oh.
Yeah, just didn't run into the back of him, and then there's no stopping
Oh.
on the slippery Daytona grass.
Oh, that was like ice, wasn't it? Yeah, it's lethal. Well, let's hope that's all the damage for today, Jason. Don't want to see that happening.
This is looking ominous with the Chimera guys around the outside.
Oh, they're playing teams, aren't they? Goodness me. I've got to say, I love it when people do this, when they use... it's great to have two people in a team that can actually have the ability to do these kinds of things, work together.
That is the benefit of having a teammate.
Yeah. I see it all week in, week out with the Momo team in the MX-5s. They're masters of working together. You know, there's no team orders. They scrap like monsters all the time when they're driving in races. But when they need to, they can use their cars in an incredibly effective way without ever infringing the rules.
Well, I think they're going to have one more lap to sort it out after this one.
Oh, it's got a good run through there. That is a wicked corner, isn't it? If you just get it wrong, you know, and it's kind of between second and third. And yes. And if you get a poor exit, you know, this is where somebody can come swooping by you, isn't it? Because you just you've got to get absolutely the best exit, otherwise they can slingshot you.
What can Team Chimera do? Firstly, about Carl Hardy. Secondly, about Sam Blease.
I don't think they can do anything by the looks of this.
Well,
come on, Captain.
Simon Trendle getting a hell of a push from teammate Jamie Wilson.
Nice one, Jamie.
Is he going to stick to his what? He's got to go shallow.
Oh! Crikey.
This is the final lap.
Well, everything's in the ring. Can Carl hold his place? Can Sam get around, not make a mistake? There's nobody going by him if he does. I think Carl's the one who's under the most threat here. Oh, JB is battling with... Oh, he's got past Stefan. Beautiful little move into T1. Carl's keeping that gap. This is very impressive by the captain here. Come on.
He's got the Le Mans chicane coming up.
Chicane. Well, they've certainly gone up in the world. They used to be able to stop. Now they're at Le Mans. Isn't that nice? It's just this...
For me, it's all about what sort of push can Jamie Wilson give Simon Trendle coming out of the bus stop.
Hoping none at all.
Can he push him past? But
I don't think
seems
so.
a bit too far back to me.
I think Carl's just got slightly the edge on
all
pace.
Three closing up
over Jamie.
And Sam's down the bottom. It's going to be a photo finish.
Oh my word! Look at this.
Carl is down. Carl got it. Sam Blease went from first to third there.
Oh, what a finish, guys. That was amazing. What a race.
There's a very decent photo in there somewhere.
Oh, magic. I had a feeling. I said to Millie. Well, that's a cracking result for our Cole.
Simon was trying to tow from Carl, but also pushing him. Sam's trying to take the shortest route down the inside, but Carl's got his nose in front there. Simon Trendle has just run out of steam.
Oh,
There it was.
Me. Well, that was fantastic, isn't it?
And Jamie Wilson was just a spectator, couldn't get anywhere near them.
Oh, they're all flat out. You know, it just goes to show you how just slight fractions in difference from an exit of the corner.
Well,
thousands of a second.
They've got a 5-minute break now, and then they can do it all again for an hour.
Fantastic. Well done. Oh, I'm thrilled for Carl. That was a fantastic result. But
Spencer McCarthy got pole position for that one, and he's in the pole position place for the second one as well.
We wouldn't have preferred that, the way that's worked out. But yes. Well, that was, what an end to a race. That was cracking. That just shows you the fun that you can have. These 30-minute races, they're kind of like, there's no restraint. It's a short race. They can lay it all out on the track, and it just gets you nicely warmed up for this one.
Yeah, and obviously in the feature race, they have to think a little bit more tactically, don't they? So,
well, absolutely. Well, I think this, it helps that they get this out of their bloodstream, don't they? You know, it gives them a good half hour on the track in exactly the right conditions, and they can take an awful lot of information back, take forward to the feature race. It's a much more cerebral kind of affair because the adrenaline's largely been used up in the first race because they're harem scarum racers, flat out. How tight do you want it? Goodness me.
Yeah, I still think they'll find some more adrenaline for lap 1, turn 1.
It'll be settling down. If you remember, the first race we had a delightful start. Everybody got through the first section really sweetly. Turn 1 and 2, 3. That first tricky section on cold tyres, everybody got through very, very sweetly, and that was. We'd like to see that again.
Yeah, but as we say, the second race, although we call it the feature race, the drivers use it as the 60-minute sprint race.
Yes, but they've always done that, haven't they? Well, it was the only race. It was 60. They've always done that. This is a track where the GT drivers would have enjoyed it. It's a good track for the GT cars, but it's a boaty little track in the TCRs. I think probably better. Myself, I'd rather drive a TCR around here than a GT. I think, which is unusual for me.
Yeah, we've unfortunately lost Russell Cowell again. He seems to be having some internet issues. Let's hope he can get back in the next couple of minutes and take his place on the grid.
Oh, come on, Russell. Fingers crossed for you, mate. So disappointed if you've gone to, if you're this close to a big race and you're all prepared, you put the time in, you're mentally and physically ready, and then you get a technical itch. I've had it, problems with my brake again, and it demoralises you.
Yeah, it's nothing worse, is there? You can end up putting hours and hours and hours of practice in with no real issues, and then come race day, an internet issue or a hardware issue, and it robs you of what could have been a fantastic race. But he's still got over a minute to get back in the session, so let's just hope it's a glitch and nothing serious.
Touching two woods. So I'm touching pine and cedar. That should be a fearsome combination.
Well, whilst you touch wood, I shall touch cloth.
Excellent. I'm sure that works some mysterious thing somewhere.
Roger Morton is currently getting some laps in, so whether he's made an adjustment to his setup, he's seeing what it feels like. Simon Trendle doing a bit of Daytona rallycross.
He's getting his practice in now, he's right, because he hasn't had the time to do it any other time. So he gets in between races.
Okay, Russell has got back in the session.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Let's hope whatever that issue was, it's sorted out.
It's a bit of a worry when if that's twice. Fingers crossed, Russell.
I actually think I got that wrong. I think it was Shane the first time.
Ah, right, okay. Okay. Well, that's better. I've just been racing at the weekend and got somebody buried their car, T-boned him in his car. So he's a bit bruised and battered.
Right, let's bring you your official starting grid for round 4, the feature race from Daytona. Spencer McCarthy, thanks to the reverse pole, gets our pole position for race 2 for Geodesic Racing. Matt Elmore in second for Spectre 6 Silver. Stephen Walker third for Spectre 6 Purple. Russell Cowell fourth, Spectre 6 Silver. A lot of Spectre 6s up there. Fifth, Jamie Wilson, Team Chimera. Sixth is Sam Blease for Geodesic Racing. Seventh, Simon Trendle for Team Chimera. And race 1 winner Carl Hardy goes off in 8th for Safeguard by Result. 9th is Shane Powell, Spectre 666, and 10th is Arnaud Chanonnier for RWC Racing Red. RWC Racing Red again in 11th with Chris Needham. Stefan Goebel 12th for VPS Esports with Chris Needham. That was really weird. Just heard myself there. JB Dejoux in 13th for BSTV Esports Blue. Roger Morton 14th, Safeguard by Result. 15th, Tony Walker, Spectre 6 Purple. 16th, Andrew Littler, Spyro by Result. 17th, Matt Flannery, Geodesic Racing White. And last but not least, Jason Haddington, RWC Racing Blue.
Fantastic grid, isn't it?
Cheesecake delivered.
Oh, lovely. Just think that's such a handsome grid. 18 fantastic drivers. And it was
soon to be 19.
Oh, brilliant. Well, yes, more. Well, there's room for more, but I do think it's very healthy and such a talented bunch as well. Look, everyone.
Okay, so pace car is in. Spencer in charge of the field. And away they go.
Tight at the front.
Yeah, let's watch turn 1 with interest. Ooh, oh! That was Matt Elmore very slow in turn 1. Put the frighteners on Sam Blease. But apart from that, everybody through again. Well done, guys.
I was trying to get through early, making early moves. Wow, they're racing right from the get-go here. It doesn't matter about cold tyres, doesn't matter about any slippy conditions, it doesn't matter about anything. It doesn't matter, it's an hour-long race, they're going for it. These first few minutes, absolutely vital to establish yourself in the field. We've seen how difficult it is to make a pass if you've got determined opposition, and every one of these guys is determined.
Settling down into a bit of a train at the moment.
Oh, these curb cams are great, aren't they? But it's really great pictures tonight, I think. This is really very, very Matt.
It is. Yeah. Tried to carry too much speed through the bus stop.
He got that quite a climb. I hope he's not got some bad damage there. Hobbs there with the Simon and Jamie right behind him again.
Yeah, and David Ayres asking, is there any reason that JB's starting from the pits? I don't know of any. Maybe he went for a foggy.
That's Shane.
Was Shane, wasn't it?
Ah.
What's he done? Arno behind him.
Oh,
that was strange.
God, look at that. It was hardly going and had the brakes on. Look how far he went on that grass. So slippery. You don't want to put a wheel on that stuff. It's lethal. Oh, just a bump.
It was like Arno was going to throw it down the inside, thought better of it, backed out of it, but then still managed to hit him.
Yes. Bit of momentum there. Unforeseen. Now Spencer's working on to get a gap here with Stephen and Spencer are really having a bit of a fun day at the front here, aren't they? They're making a gap 2 seconds. That's significant, and these two are dangerous. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, and Spencer's wild there. Gives the lead away.
It won't matter. He's going to be well in the toe. But it just shows you how hard to push it. He didn't want to give his position away, did he? You know, and just left his braking slightly too late. Only a fraction. Just a fraction. He's just trying to eke out every advantage, every yard, every tenth, and it just tempts you into just. And yeah, you can lose more than you can gain. But these are fine judgment calls. It's very hard. This is hard competitive racing at high level. There's not a lot of room for error. There's not a lot of juice in it, you know. These guys wring out every ounce.
Sam, please won't want to see those two disappearing into the distance.
Certainly won't. I don't want to see it. And neither will Simon and Jamie, getting gapped by Carl by the looks of this. Oh, no, they've pulled back. Look, must have been the camera shot. It looked to me like they were getting a little bit of a clout. That would surprise me. But yes, we don't. Stephen and Spencer, that's a dangerous pair to let it get away at the front, aren't they, you know? But you know, nobody's more well aware of that than these guys here. So I'm sure that they will probably put aside hostilities if they think they can actually get them back. Whether they can get them back, I don't know. Those two are dangerous together.
Oh no!
Oh,
Matt Elmore! That was all on his
oh,
lonesome.
he hit.
Oh, hello.
Oh, goodness me.
That's
That's
Roger
Roger.
and Jason.
Oh, no. Oh, they're mates as well.
Must be raining in turn one.
What happened there? Roger's there. Oh, Roger lost his car, I think.
Yeah, I think Roger lost it, didn't he, and hit pit entry. And as we've seen a number of times, I think Jason Haddington was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh, Jason. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, whack. He's bounced out. Oh, look at that. I would call that a racing incident. What would you call it?
I would call it's a good job Roger was sitting on the left-hand side of that car, otherwise he'd be dead.
Yes. Yeah, no, we don't want that in my mate. We don't want my wingman in squashed condition. But, oh, that's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Two of the guys at support. That's two down with one go. That's and Matt as well wasn't very shiny, to be honest. So, oh dear. Come on, Carl.
These two are eking out that lead now.
Dangerous. They're dangerous, Clyde. You know what they're like. They're just so quick. And if they, well, look what they're doing there. You know, they know all about eking out an advantage. They do. And what I'm liking is how hard the other guys are racing. They're very well aware of the danger. They know just how this could turn bad early in the race still. And you don't want these guys getting a cap on you early in the race at all, ever. With mine this early. So they're really trying hard. You can see how hard, and it's so hard that Jamie and Simon really are being gapped. It can't be the camera angle again, can it? It really looks like there's a little bit of a gap forming there. And
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of a gap, isn't there? But
well, you just don't expect to see that. It just shows you how well Sam and Carl is devouring the draft, of course.
yeah, the thing for me, Alan, is that I'm not saying it is, but that could purely be tactical, where you save a bit of fuel for a couple of laps, and then drag straight. Just before you're going to drop out of the tow, you then have a flat out lap and drag yourself back up to the car in front again.
Sure. And
you never know. We've seen the drivers in this league, and I mean all of them, just some weird and wonderful tactical calls that have worked or gone horribly wrong, but you just never know what's going on.
Right. Well, if anybody's going to be doing and think along those lines, it's going to be Simon and Jamie. And look at the way they're driving. They're in each other's cars. They're absolutely taking every advantage of the line and the toe coming down the straight.
Yeah, but the other thing that has happened is, rather than trying to overtake Sam Blease, Carl Hardy has been pushing him, and he's pushed him back up. That 2.5 second lead has gone.
So, really good news for the guys. And you're right, I think Carl's been a lot of the engine. You'd think that Sam would be actually dragging Carl along, but I don't think Carl's needing much dragging at the moment.
Well, I think Carl has done Sam a massive favour in getting him back in touch again, and I think Sam is now going to drop Carl like an ex-girlfriend, because his real teammate is in front of him.
Yeah. Well, I think he might try. Maybe he'll try.
No, Sorry, I didn't mean drop him as in on the track, but as in Carl's usefulness to him.
You know, you don't think it's going to be a sad farewell, and he's making eyes at his geodesic teammate.
Well, I think so. I think Sam only has eyes for one person at the moment.
Paul's a big boy, and he won't care, but he will be doing his damnedest to hang on. So I've got to say, that's a big ask, because these are the quick guys, and Paul's driving the wheels off his car. He's using every bit of the toe, but you know he's right at the edge of his ability.
Yeah, I think Carl needs Team Chimera help now.
Well, that would be very nice, wouldn't it?
If he can maybe coax a Jamie Wilson or a Simon Trendle into pushing him past Sam Blease, because Spencer has got back in front of Stephen, so Sam will now want to be in front of Stephen and making puppy dog eyes at the rear end of his teammate. David Ayres on the chat is saying he thinks iRacing needs to add making the tyre wall physics more realistic to their to-do list. I totally agree with that, and I think they should concentrate on that before rain, because rain's going to be rubbish.
I'm with you there. I'm not a big fan of the idea of rain at all. I have enough trouble in the dry.
Well, that's always my philosophy, Alan. All the people crying out for rain are the ones that can't drive when it's dry, and they somehow think they're going to be rain gods, and it's not going to happen. You're just going to be a rubbisher. I don't even know if that's a word, but it is now.
It is now. You've authored this word.
Matt Elmore saying he wants the Elantra back.
So is the Elantra gone down the list or up the list in this iteration? You can never know where they are.
Matt, he reckons it's overpowered for this track, which is a bit strange when... what have we got? We've got a Velociraptor up the front, then we've got two Audis, then we've got one Elantra, as we see Stephen Walker getting all sideways, and then we've got two Hondas, so... the screens don't show that at the moment. So, what did Stephen Walker do? I just caught him going sideways out of the corner of my eye. It's turn one again, as usual. Oh, really lost that on the way in, didn't he? Like he snatched a brake or something. But he's still on the back of his 6-car train.
Yeah. No real damage done there. It is those situations where it's where you just haven't got enough drive in the back wheels, isn't it? Because everything's at the front, and everything pulls away, and your back just comes round on you. It's like
it looked to me, I'm no expert, I'm an expert in spinning, like Spencer's braking caught him out and he had to push a bit harder on the brake pedal, and maybe that's what brought the car round. Not 100% sure, but
it only takes a degree of extra lock, doesn't it, on the wheel, and you can be round just on it's a fine line. It's right on the edge of things.
So David is saying that the Elantra was hitting 158 miles an hour in the toe, whereas the other cars were topping out at 155. And I, you can't deny that is a fact, but There's one Elantra in that top 6. If the Elantra's that quick, yeah, they should be first to 6th. And I throw it all back at everybody like I did before when they kept saying how good the Elantra was and it was the best car and this, that and the other, and Stephen Walker won the championship not in an Elantra. Yes, the physics can change with the cars, but it's still the nut holding the wheel that makes the most difference.
Yeah. I think, you put your finger on it there, really. It's the person inside the car, it's not the what's under the bonnet. Because these cars are made to be competitive, even at their worst. Even at their worst, they've got to be reasonably in the ballpark. But skill does make a difference, and it can be a defining factor. And we all know how good a driver even is. I don't know what he's doing in 6th position. Goodness me.
I'll throw that as well at or towards the Team Chimera guys. If rumours are true, the Honda is again a horrible car this season. But you'll see these two wheeling it.
Yes. And normally to very good effect. Let's face it, Simon's top 3 man nearly every week, isn't he? Crikey. Interested to see how Jamie gets on with the front-wheel drive cars. He's driven them before, hasn't he?
Oh yes, yeah, and won races in TCRs as well.
I think that might be a nice, refreshing change for him. I hope so. I'm really glad that they made the decision to all step over into this car rather than have a skinny league with the GTs, because this is an intriguing TCR lineup. Really is fantastic. Look at this now still.
The fascinating thing for me this season, Alan, is the length of the season. It's still only 12 weeks, but it's 23 races. How many times can you afford to have a bad race? I'm thinking not many.
No, well, you can't afford to have any bad races if you've got aspirations to win. Very hard to make a comeback.
And I have no doubt that the championship will go down to the wire again.
Well, it couldn't have got any more than the wire the last one, goodness me. So,
yeah. 4 points, was it, I think, last season?
Amazing.
So the top 6 have got a massive lead.
11 seconds. 12 seconds. Chris is they're all paddler, so and Stefan as well. It just shows you, doesn't it? You get out of the tow and you just have a couple of bad laps. It's very hard to close the gap again. It is. I mean, those front 6 people all well in the tow. They're one of the best pedalers on the grid, and you just, once they've got a gap, it's just next to impossible to close it. Even if you've got tow yourself, it's going to be just running status quo. It is. It's going to be very hard to pull them back, but they've got their fight in the middle there.
Yeah, and again, with this league, it's the tracks we've gone from Okayama, which not everybody's favourite track, can be quite tricky to overtake. It's quite twisty and turny. then we've gone to the massive Daytona road course. And then next week, we're back to a small circuit with the national circuit at Barcelona. And then the following week, we go mental again with a driver's choice of Monza combined with no chicanes. So it's, you can't even get into a rhythm as a driver, can you?
Well, yeah, it's talking about variety. We get to try the cars in just every condition, don't we? See the cars of these people racing them in every variety of racetrack. And we get to see them now in a sprint race, half an hour, which is a very, very different thing. It shows you a completely different personality of the driver and the car. So I think it's very enjoyable. Very nice additions, half an hour to roll things up. I think it's great, actually. It makes a really good preparation for this race. Everybody comes in ready. We've had two really great starts, nothing messy at the start. People are getting on for the whole race. They want to finish the races, and they don't want to be carrying damaged cars around with them.
No, but we've probably said that since, I don't know, I'm going to say season 2 or season 3, but it's possibly back to season 1. From day one, we just seem to attract the right drivers into this league. And most of the drivers that you see on your screen now have been, with this league a long time. And the respect between drivers, the help between drivers, the respect on the track is just absolutely phenomenal, which is why we always encourage, people who want to try league racing for the first time, or they've had a bad experience with league racing. This is league racing at its best. The drivers all get on, they all help each other out. And when you see things go wrong, which they do from time to time, you can guarantee it's purely an accident. There's no malice, no nothing. And drivers are genuinely upset. If they was to cause an accident, they're genuinely upset when somebody has a bad race that they would normally be running with. And yeah, it's just great. The guys in this league are great.
Certainly are. They're a brilliant bunch, and week after week they perform and give us great racing. Cheers, lads. I used to watch this every week just because it's just really brilliant racing, and I've watched thousands of hours of people racing and iRacing before I even started to drive myself. And, this has always been a fantastic league. We're watching it for, years now, we can say, can't we? It's not.
Well, we can. Do you know what? I'm going to have a quick look. The pit window is open, but I'm going to have a quick look on a different screen as to when did we do our first race in this league. And I know I'm going to be surprised, because time flies. So we did our first race in this league on the 10th of June 2020.
June 2020. So it is years, goodness me.
It is years. It's 2 years, 3 months and 11 days.
It's me. That's a lot of laps.
And, considering we race, what do we race? 48 weeks out of 52 every year.
Oh, no, not right.
Out of that pack. didn't quite see what happened, but Sam's going to
must have
bring us a
been.
replay.
Oh, but there was a
No,
contact.
Sam's going to bring us a replay of Chris Needham.
Oh, Chris,
Stefan
don't you?
Oh!
Oh!
Caused a massive stack up. And again, that was... Chris looked very, very slow. I can see why Stefan went for it, and then Chris turned in, not realising.
Yes, he didn't realise Stefan was there, did he? Yeah. Shane.
Shane.
That's the towing from there, I'm afraid. He won't be able to drive that back, will he? So what happened to Carl? Did he hit the fence? That's the thing. Or did he manage to save it? It looked like he was heading to the wall, and that would be ouch. Oh no, he's got away with it.
I'd like to see that overhead, because that looked all on his own, and it looked like he got a wheel on the grass. Oh, no. I think he outbraked himself, and then took avoiding action rather than run into the back of whoever that was in front of him.
Yes.
Sam Blease, probably.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Gentlemanly driving. I think most people would just use the guy in front for a break, hit him square, and hope for the best.
Or there is another possibility. Somebody shouted, "Pies!"
Well, at least there's no damage to the car. I thought he might have been in contact with the wall, and that would have been really bad. So now we've got to see if he can actually do the impossible and break a 5-man tow. Catch them up.
Never happening. Not from that far back. This is going to have to be tactical with the pit stops, and I still think the gap's too much.
7 seconds. He's got Stefan. Now him and Stefan working together might be able to do something about that. Stefan's car is still in good nick. They could actually work together a little bit.
We don't know what damage Stefan got on that side swipe, did we? These cars have been, shall we say, a little bit fragile.
Well, they've got a cumulative damage model, haven't they now? Well, we have on the Mazdas, apparently. It's cumulative. If you get one damage, one hit, it keeps it and registers it and adds it onto the next one. This is what I've been told. I don't know if it's still the same with TCRs, but I was told that's what's happening with the Mazda, because you get a small hit and a large response, and it's cumulative damage.
Yeah, I'm always dubious with things like that, but we'll see.
Yes. Well, I was told that was what's happening, but by people, I think, actually. I believe some of those people read those things that they put on the iRacing releases.
No.
Yeah,
nobody
honestly.
reads them, surely.
Honestly, I know at least 2 people who actually read them, or rumoured to read them, in their spare time for fun.
Yeah, well, it can't be Pete Bingham because he can't read.
Well, he could probably add him to my list of possibles. I think there's I've got 2 certains. Yeah. But then they're very handy when it comes to rule changes and upgrades and all kinds of stuff, because they know exactly what's been going on and can tell you.
Yeah, Pete would only read it if they released here's a list of excuses you can use when you crash. Then he'd read it.
I was hoping Pete would be driving this season with his partner and teammate.
Yeah, no, I actually don't know what Gary's doing. I know he got into Dirt Rally.
Oh yes,
whether
he
he's
did.
still doing
Yes,
that,
but
I don't know.
I was hoping he would come back this season so we could get them racing again.
Evening to Amoret. She says it's a good community here. Yeah, obviously led by me and Alan and Sam. So you have to keep all these drivers in check.
Oh yeah.
And David Ayres quite rightly points out the only thing you have to worry about in this league is Carl nicking your packed lunch. Or even worse than that, stealing your dinner money.
Oh, goodness, don't say that. Right. They're still at 7 seconds. Him and
Stephen Walker. Why has he dropped off the back? He's not out of the toe yet, so not too much to worry about. Maybe just slow down a touch for a slurp of beer.
ooh, locking the brakes up there at the right. Was that Jamie? Oh no, it's Simon.
Yeah, so we are well into the pit window now.
You like that Spectre 6 paint? Gorgeous.
Obviously, we've got two sets of teammates up the front here, so you would really expect that these guys are going to pit in teams.
Probably not do that just to baffle you now. But yes, and our geodesic putting a sprint on here. Are they trying to break the toe? Are they trying to get away? Are they putting pressure on? Interesting. How long we've got? Well, we're well in the pit window, aren't we? So you know, to be well on their minds, it will.
Yeah, David Ayres just pointing out that he's been watching the timings and Carl's keeping pace with the front runners but not gaining on them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Still
hello.
7 seconds.
Hello. So I was right with Wilson and no, I wasn't. I was wrong with both of them. Unbelievable. Oh!
Oh! Like that was for invisible cars.
Did Jamie Wilson make it into his pit stall then?
Oh, magic. Awful dust. You are sooty.
I fully expected a reverse gear selection and
Oh!
that was
Yeah,
interesting.
that was weird. That was peculiar.
That to me was, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, Simon Trendle not realising that there was a slower car there.
Oh, it certainly, yeah.
Did Andy Littler
Andy got a surprise.
come off of that apex a bit and surprise Simon? I'm not sure.
Well, there won't be any blame.
One.
There won't be any blame. It will just be purely misunderstanding and accident. We won't find
Yes,
more gentleman drivers than them two.
After me saying that teammates would pit together, neither of them did.
Spot on. Oh. So, presumably next time then.
What are you eating, Alan?
Coffee. Granddad's delight.
Oh, very nice.
Mm.
Okay, so Sam Blees and Simon Trendle in now. Spencer McCarthy, as suspected, because of all those laps that he led. I think he had a longer pit stop. because he had to take on more fuel. Stream of cars coming out of the pits.
There we are.
The viewers can still hear us. So that's shook things up a bit, Alan. 2.7 seconds now. Sam Blease has over Simon Trendle.
Yes. And Jamie came out with him. Perfect timing.
Yeah, so Jamie and Simon need to work as a team to get back up to Sam. They will naturally drag Stephen Walker with them. Ignore the car behind Stephen Walker, because he's not in this battle.
No, it looks like a 3-horse race at the moment.
Well, it's 4, isn't it?
Four. Yeah.
If these three, those three that are in shot now, can get back up to Sam, we'll watch the time. It's 2.7 seconds at the moment. There is 22 minutes left in the race.
You would think that Simon and Jamie will be able to use their tactical teammanship to actually good advantage here. It looks to me like they're trying very hard to, and of course Stephen isn't going to turn down the invitation to sit on the back of that.
Yeah, I think for me, Stephen Walker is the key to all of this. If he shows his intention of not wanting to make a move on Jamie, and basically saying, Jamie, get up there, push your teammate, get him back up to Sam, and I'll just follow you, I think they will catch Sam. If Stephen tries to overtake Jamie, I think Sam Blease has then got it in the bag.
Yes.
Because these three really need to work together.
Absolutely. Sam will be having his fingers crossed that they decide to have a bit of a knockdown and drag out. But I think they're much more likely to be sensible and do what they're doing. It seems to me they're in a fairly stable line and going as fast as they can with their strongest driver at the front at the moment.
Yeah, you've got Shane Powell on the back there, running in 14th and a lap down. But he is in the Spectre 6 stable. So there, yeah, you definitely see Jamie pushing Simon there. They took about 2/10 out of Sam.
As you said earlier, I'm sure that they can use their car and their tow advantage against the solo driver. And they are doing, aren't they? They're closing it up, and I don't think Sam can hold out by himself.
Yeah,
If
well,
he can, it would be an amazing performance, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we saw that 2.2 second lead disappear in the first race, didn't we? With third and fourth at the time, they're working together to catch first and second. So we know it's definitely possible. And there's literally nothing Sam Blease can do apart from drive as fast as he can. He can do nothing to influence what these guys are doing behind him, whether they're working together or not.
Oh, he's just trying to be very small. Just a tiny little
Yeah.
car, not to worry about, nothing for you to concern yourself about, just ignore that tiny little car at the front there. It's not giving you any tow or anything. It's just a tiny little thing, dissipating in the distance.
Yeah, this is where you need a tarmac grey paint on your car.
Camouflage, you can give me some advice on that. Oh,
Stephen Walker is keeping well out.
oh, Jamie's in.
I believe that was all on his lonesome.
Jamie was, I think, lost his back end.
Yeah,
I
and
was
that's
struggling a bit.
given Stephen Walker 2 positions past both of the Chimera cars. So let's now see if Simon can push Stephen. But they've got nearly 4 seconds to make up now.
Yeah,
With
unfortunate, but
17 and a half minutes to go.
I still think it's doable. But you need some consecutive hot laps, don't they?
Yeah, and Sam Blease will be. I don't know what you guys did on that last lap, but please do it again every lap.
Yeah. Well, one man against effectively 3.
Yeah, and he was
Got a shout for Sam.
Robbed of a win in race 1, wasn't he? Got mugged on the line.
Wow. I imagine he was thrilled to be in such a fantastic real best towards the line. Brilliant end to the race. Sam is going to be driving his little heart out, and we know he's quick as anything.
Maybe Simon wants back past Stephen. Have they given up on first place? Well, they've certainly worked together to get past him there.
He didn't do anything to stop him, though, did he? He was being very obliging. I think they just. I think maybe Stephen was trying to go at the front there, see if he got any faster pace than Simon, and maybe thinks that he hasn't. That Simon is the best man in front at the moment. 3.7 seconds. Bob's doing very well to keep. 9 seconds, he's managed to hold that at the 9 seconds for a very long time now. He's driving extremely well. It's just a shame that he got gapped like that, because otherwise he'd be up with his lot. And he's put a couple of seconds in Stefan. 2 seconds, that's a reasonable gap.
Yeah, just looking at Sam Blease's stats, he has had 18 wins in this series.
Yes.
Is phenomenal.
He's done so many with his tactical acumen, though, hasn't he? He's proved time and time again that he's a wizard of strategic thinking, and so many of his wins have come through not just his skill behind the wheel, but his tactical thinking.
Yeah,
which is
they managed to take half a second out of the lead on that lap, but they're going to have to do that every lap because even at that pace, it's going to take them 7 laps to get back to where they want to be. Um, I think I would rather be Sam Blease at the moment. I think this
well,
could be
certainly.
Sam's to throw away.
I think yes. I would definitely would rather be Sam, but I wouldn't stand the chance of actually winning. Even if I was there with a 4-second lead. Yes, he's not going to make it easy for them. To me, they're not making the time back quick enough.
No,
They haven't made anything back on that lap.
back out to 3.8.
They really need to be pulling tenths off it, not watching them static. He's holding them by himself. They've got a tow of 3 cars.
Yeah, I think this is the main section of the track, rounds turn 3 and 4, NASCAR turns 3 and 4. And then over the start finish line, that's where they can make most of the time back, especially running like they are now in tandem. You can see that time coming down 3.6.
Yes, but
3.5, almost down to 3.4. But they need to be hooked up like that on every single lap. There's 12 minutes to go now.
that was their best performance down there and their biggest snatch, but that already it's going because Sam has really got the pace through the corners. He's actually holding them at bay. They're taking advantage, as you say, around the oval, but once they get into the twisty bits, Sam is actually extending it and putting it all back again.
Yeah, because it's obviously where the toe doesn't come into it. But
Yeah.
I think the trouble is for these guys is, Stephen Walker can see a podium finish in front of him. He's not going to give them many more laps of, come on guys, sort this out, let's catch Sam, before he starts thinking, do you know what? If I can get past Jamie, I'm in third. I've then got a chance to get past Simon. That'll be a second place finish. We can't touch Sam, so that'll have to do.
Yes, it's but this is a great drive by Sam to hold these guys at bay like this. This is incredible consistent driving by him.
Yeah, well, he had 2.5 seconds, didn't he, when he come out from the pits, and then we see that little kerfuffle, which gave him another second and a bit. You see it's coming down again, and come down to 3.3, and get down to about 3.2.
Be dead this time.
They can see him.
Oh yes, this is. Well, you know what it's like for those guys there. The guy just there in front is so temptingly near. You're almost onto his toe.
Yeah, if they can get that under 2 seconds, they're back in it.
This is tense. You see, I don't think there's no reason for them to give up. Sam's only got to make one tiny error, and they're back. He's only got not necessarily past him, but they'll be back in it as soon as they get in his toe. That's it. They're going to catch him up. So
yeah, no, I don't think there's any question of these guys giving up. Like I say,
I don't think they will. They won't stop.
Is Stephen Walker the one that he's going to be the spanner in the works? And maybe not just Stephen. Maybe stablemate Shane Powell, does Stephen get to that point where he says to Shane, right, come on, boy, start pushing. I need to get past these two because they ain't catching Sam.
Well, certainly Stephen will be looking to get that second place. We know that.
Jamie wasn't hooked up with Simon quick enough. Oh, and again, that's, that can happen. You've only got to get it slightly wrong. And
Yes.
oh, that was a good save by Jamie. But, get it slightly wrong when you're trying to push your teammate, and both of you can end up in the fence.
Yes, and I think it's slowing them down going through T1. It is. Driving so close together, going through such a tight corner, I think it's probably costing them at least one of the tenths they've gained going down the straight.
I think a lot of that, Alan, could be that they're gaining so much extra speed across the stripe that it's compromising their braking into turn one because they're just, they've got that much extra speed.
Oh, I'm sure, because I keep seeing Jamie getting it slightly wrong, and he's in so close quarters that it's costing him a little bit. But I'm sure that's what it is. It's one of the famous things for me is that getting caught in the toe and misjudging your braking. Because, when you're driving, you don't realise how strong the toe is. And as soon as you put the brakes on, you realise that, crikey, you're not slowing down.
Yeah, I should have braked 30 feet earlier.
Yeah. Oh, I used to get caught out by it so often because when I first started to keep up with all the traffic, it had been a long time since this had never happened. When I first started to keep up with the traffic, it was a revelation, of course, this getting towed. It wasn't something I'd had to deal with before. It was sad for the people that taught me about it because I was in their boot.
Yeah, I can also tell you that JB Dejoux has just done some slalom skiing through turn one. There's a lot
there's generally a bit of room there for it, which is a good place.
There's a lot of steering wheel wrestling going on. I just saw on another screen.
Now, it looks to me like Stephen's starting to look a little bit more intimidating.
I think so. There's 6 minutes to go. So, 4 laps. 3 laps even. I think they might just get a 4th one in.
Wow. Tom has done a fantastic drive this latter half of this race. They've not been able to pull anything back, and it's not like they've been racing against him. They're starting to now, but they haven't been. They've been really concentrated on trying to get him back. As you suggested they should, and it was the strategically sound thing to do, but he's still got the gap exactly where he had it when we started this conversation.
Yeah.
That's a tribute to his great pace around here. And his calm head under some people would have got flustered in that situation, and it's very easy to lose a second or two and it gets out of hand there in your toe and it's going to pieces. You've got to walk that fine line where you've got them not in your toe, and he's done a fantastic job at that.
Yeah, you're right there, Alan. It's very easy to turn an easy win. That's a bit of a misdemeanor because there is no easy wins in this series, but you know what I mean. It's easy to, if you're that type of driver, to turn an easy win into a 3rd or a 4th place finish, just by concentrating too much on what's going on behind you rather than what's going on in front.
Yes, well, there you go, what we were saying. Oh! Well, he showed his hand and got badly out of shape, so I would have to actually caught him in a little bit there. Unusual to see that. That's rather clumsy. You don't often see Stephen being clumsy very often.
Yeah, I think he just tried that.
Oh, he left it probably too late, didn't he?
Outside line that you can, when you get that right. You know, we've seen Carl Hardy doing it a few times, haven't we? You get it right, you can carry a lot of speed out of turn one.
Yeah.
But like you say, you over egg it by a foot, and you can end up looking a bit silly. But he did well, to be honest.
He did. It's a little bit of a gap. He's had a price to pay, but
but not.
It could have been a lot worse.
Is it?
It could have been a lot worse.
Back up.
Yeah. He's still in the tow.
The podium places are definitely not decided yet. Trendle doing his damnedest to give Jamie Wilson enough speed to stop Stephen from doing that outside move.
Well, they know he's going to go try it, don't they? You know, he's shown his hand, so he's just got to try and pull it off. There's nothing they can do to stop him.
Yeah, and this is where you can get it done.
I think he's got it myself. He's got it, as far as I'm concerned. He's done them on the brakes.
But, unfortunately, maybe for Stephen, when they cross the line, they're going to be starting the final lap. And how many times have you seen teammates push each other past a car in front?
Well, he had to make the call, didn't he? Is he going to go now or not? And I think he's probably made the right call. He probably thinks he's got the pace to actually keep them off.
He's going to have to try and block it, I think.
I think he thinks he's got the pace and he's going to be able to do it. And he's pretty good at making these calls, to be honest. He is.
Well, he is a multi-champion in this series.
We used to see him in the GT we've still got the memories of him driving the GT recently, but we know very well that he's a master in the TCR.
Yes. Are they going to do it this time, or is this the practice run for the final lap?
Well, they've got to do this, and
Stephen's taken that outside line because that's what he likes into turn one.
Look at the pace they've got there. Can he do them on the brakes again? It's skirting dangerous territory. This is it.
This is the important one, and he didn't get the power down, but he has split them.
Yes.
That could be important.
Now, oh dear, this is a bit exciting now. Jamie's there, he's sitting there.
It is the final lap.
Oh, you're in a sandwich, Stephen. Good exit required from here.
Yeah, he's obviously he knows he's getting no help whatsoever from behind.
But he's glad that he's getting no hindrance as well, I imagine.
Yeah, there is no way Simon is going to push him past Jamie. So it's going to be a straight drag race, I think, for second place. And who's the favourite? Is it the Audi? Can
Stephen.
the old Honda do anything?
Come on, Stephen. He's been 2 against 1 all this time.
Apologies
very
to
nice if he could do
Sam
it.
for not watching him, but this is where the battle is. And we're going with the obligatory 3 wide. And Simon Trendle. No, Jamie Wilson. Oh, it was Jamie Wilson.
Yes, he came in on the inside. Brilliant finish by Jamie on the inside there.
Yeah, it was Jamie, then it was Simon, and then it was Jamie. So another photo finish.
Fantastic. Oh, pleased for Jamie. That was great. That was a great result for him. He'd been quietly there all that time. Brilliant, and fantastic. Well done by Sam, because that was just peerless driving. Perfect driving. He never made an error, did he? He sat in front all that time, just perfect lap after perfect lap. He never gave anybody a sniff of catching him. Even when there was 3 cars at it, 3 really good cars, really trying hard, working together, they could not close that gap. He was absolutely imperious. Fantastic drive by Sam. Wow, what a race.
Yeah,
Something.
we're just waiting for JB and Andy Littler to cross the line.
Andy.
There's going to be some drivers that wish we could race here every week. There's going to be some drivers that can't wait to get out of this place.
Wow.
What's
What's that car doing? It seems to be wobbling around somewhat.
Let me save the replay. There we go. That's done and dusted. Let me get the result up. There it is. So your feature race results. Fantastic drive from Sam Blees for Geodesic Racing takes the feature race win. Photo finish again. Jamie Wilson got there for Team Chimera in second, with teammate Simon Trendle in third. Stephen Walker was pipped off of the podium in fourth place for Spectre 6 Purple, and Carl Hardy, after spitting himself off the track, recovers to a fifth place for Safeguard by result. Stefan Goebel was 6th, Spencer McCarthy 7th, Russell Cowell 8th, Arnaud Chenonnier 9th, and Matt Flannery rounds out your top 10. Chris Needham was 11th, JB Dejoux came home in 12th, Shane Powell 13th, Tony Walker 14th, Matt Elmore 15th, Andy Littler in 16th, Jason Haddington in 17th, and Roger Morton in 18th. So, let me open up the Discord and let's see if we've got any of our podium finishers in the booth waiting for us. No, not yet. So, Alan, give us a brief summary on what we've just witnessed.
Wow, that's easy, isn't it? Fantastic lead group who got away and pretty much dominated the race from at the first part of the race and the second. Leading group of 6, imperious driving, really. Split the field. Then there was lots of battling behind, but they stuck together. The Toe was the master of this race. Nobody could get away. Switch round with the pit stops, and Sam managed to get in front and had this tiny gap, and how he managed to keep that gap against all the attempts of Simon and Jamie and Stephen behind him, that was fine performance. That was flawless. He didn't put a foot wrong, and brilliant drive. And then a superb final few laps where Jamie came up and stole second place right at the death with a fantastic final lap. Came through on the inside. It was brilliant.
Yeah, two fantastic photo finishes, weren't it? To be honest,
Really brilliant. Yeah, no, there was no calling. It was really exciting racing. It was so unlucky for poor Carl, who, was running so strongly with it. He was running in he was well worth his top 6 position all through that race. And he had the pace and he was there, and very unlucky to get out the slipstream and lose his place. And then he stuck with it and he kept his times together and did his very best and still got a very credible 5th, I think. And that's a really good position. Considering his tribulation. But the race at the front was fantastic. There was tactics, there was thinking, there was double thinks. You just didn't know how it was going to be. But Sam was, at the end of the day, was brilliant and well worth a fine win. But, to make a good win like that, you need the guys behind to be pushing and to have create realistic opposition. They certainly did, didn't they?
They certainly did. So let's get these interviews underway, and what's going on with my Discord? Let's bring in. He was pipped into 3rd in the sprint race after a photo finish, and a winner in the feature race. Sam Blees, welcome to the booth.
Evening, hello. Was eventful?
Disappointment in race 1, maybe?
Oh yeah, massively. I was leading for so long, and I knew that every time they came past me, they were getting there before the line, and I was like, well, I don't know what I could do differently to stay ahead. I don't have the top speed. I don't have the exit from the bus stop, but I'm really quick in the infield. So I was just hoping I could force them side by side enough on the lap before that I'd have enough gap, but didn't quite work. Three-way photo finish is always fun, though.
Yeah, I was watching intently to see what you was going to try, and obviously you tried going down towards the apron, didn't you, to see if you could get anything there.
Well, I just wanted to get the shortest run.
Yeah, was there any thoughts in your head about trying to maybe block the run, or is that a bit too dangerous?
I mean, the only thing I thought about was maybe it deliberately having a slow bus stop, just so that they don't get the run the whole way along the draft thing, and they're having to ease up to stay in the tow through the banking. But I honestly think the top speed of the Audi just wasn't there to defend that, really. So yeah. I think whatever I did, Carl at least would have got through, and I couldn't really get a read on what the Hondas were doing, because some laps they seemed immensely fast, and other laps they didn't, and I wasn't really sure where they sort of fitted. But the Hyundai, certainly Carl's Hyundai, just felt like it had the top end on me, and I was much quicker coming out of the slow corners in the infield. But that was great for lap time and appalling for being able to stay ahead in a race. So yeah, it was good fun. It was just I didn't have an on, so I don't know if there was anything I could have done in that first.
Yeah, one. It's always a difficult position, but so you started in 6th position for the feature race, and again, nip and tuck up until the pit stops, but you came out with a 2.5 second lead, so you obviously managed to save plenty of fuel.
Yeah, I managed to get the extra lap. I think just me and Simon managed to do that, and I think his stop was slightly shorter, but I'm guessing, and he may be able to confirm or deny this, that he was very borderline running out of fuel before the stops, because I pulled out a second or so on him on the in lap, and I think without that they'd have caught me, the pack, but that was just enough breathing room that when I came out and they started battling, I was able to get away. So I think that was part of it, and Spencer putting tyres on obviously helped as well.
And what's in your head? You obviously, all the pit stops are done. You look at your relative or whatever you're looking at. You've got a 2.5 second lead. Is it just head down, or is it one eye on the track, one eye on the time? What's your thought process in that?
So I was still having to manage the fuel. I had to drive to a fuel number for the second stint as well because I'd gone aggressive with how much I put in. So I wasn't able to go flat out immediately. I was basically looking at the time sheets the whole way through, and I wanted to keep a 2-second gap because as soon as they got within 2 seconds, 2 laps later they're with me because of the time.
That's toe time, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was like 2.5, 2.6, and I was just trying to eke that out, spend the fuel early and save it later sort of thing. And then they started battling, it went out to 4. I managed to get my saving done, and then I was able to not cruise, but, ease off a little bit. Just let the car go around the track and not worry too much about pressure from behind with only a few laps left.
Yeah, it's funny because it wasn't actually a battle that caused that time to go out. It was the Chimera guys pushing each other all the way into turn 1, and I think it may have been Jamie Wilson that was so hard on the brakes he got a bit sideways and basically slowed all 3 of them up. But obviously,
I must thank him.
After that, we didn't concentrate on you because the battle was behind you. But those guys certainly put on a fantastic battle. But great points for you tonight. And then, we go to the other end of the spectrum next week with Barcelona National. You've obviously raced at Barcelona, but have you ever done the national circuit?
Yeah, I think so. I've done 2 or 3 shorter Barcelona layouts, so I'm sure I have. Yes. I'm not sure which one it is in my head. I'm assuming it's the one with a proper pit lane, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, okay. Another one.
Yeah, in that case, I like that. That's a good track.
Yeah, I think it is quite a good one, Sam. It's one of the nice layouts. It's a fun short track.
Does it have to shave at the end or not? I hope it doesn't.
I'm literally trying to find it now to find out what it is, but I've got too many things open at the moment, so I'm going to close something down that I shouldn't close down. So I'm going to stop.
As long as it's not Discord or the stream.
Well, luckily I can't close the stream, so
fair enough.
Yeah. Well, like I said, a couple of fantastic results for you tonight. Going to do you no harm in the championship. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks to you guys as ever for hosting and everyone for joining in. It was a really, really hard work. I'm definitely in need of a shower now. So thanks to everyone involved. Unlucky to Spencer today. Well done to Carl on his win and everyone else. Yeah, that top sort of group, it was excellent racing throughout. Very clean, very fair. But hard work as ever.
Good. That's what we like to hear. We don't like to hear that it was nice and easy and you were sipping martini all the way through it. So congratulations on that win and your 3rd place in race 1. Sam Blees, we'll see you next time out.
Yes, guys. Thank you.
Jack the wrong Sam.
Sam just managed to get rid of himself without me even flushing it. Simon, race 1 to start with. Photo finish for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Daytona always tends to bring us those sort of things, don't they? But it must be fun for you guys being in that sort of a finish and not quite knowing who's going to get a bumper in front of who.
Yeah, it's fun if you're the one that comes out on top, I think. So I don't think Sam very liked it. Probably liked the sprint one very much. The sprint was going to be a case of survival. So it was a case of don't lose the draft and don't and try to be there in the last lap. So, yeah, interesting race. It was fun trying to figure out if you could get past the Audi on the straights with the extra brake line speed that we have in the Honda, but nah, you can't do it. You can get there, but the Honda's the outside braking in this tailman isn't quite good enough. So, yeah, that was fun trying to figure out how it could work, and then Carl got past me and ruined all my practice in the first place anyway. And then we had the 3 wide one. Yeah.
Yeah, and interesting you say about breaking into turn one, because we see some great teamwork with you and Jamie in the feature race. Pushing each other into turn one, but sometimes I don't know if it was the push was too much or the overspeed was too much, or like you say, it was just the outside braking. We see some very leery moments going into turn one.
Yeah. The one you're probably thinking of is he got the rear loose, which obviously made the netco think that he wasn't going to brake as much as he was, and it gave me a netco bump, which made me slide, which is when Stephen got past in the last race. Otherwise, it's tricky into turn one. You don't want to be offline, but you don't really have a choice. You can never be optimal through there. It's very annoying, especially on cold tyres. But I was surprised how clean it was actually on the really cold tyres.
Yeah, and I'd say for me, it must have been good for you. This is going to sound really horrible towards Jamie, and it's not meant to, but your teammate was on pace this week. So, whoever you guys were up against, it was 2 against 1, which, we see a couple of times with Stephen in front of you where, you two could just hook up and the pair of you would drive back past him again.
Yeah, at the end of the feature race, I had to drop behind Jamie because I was short on fuel. I don't know if you noticed, I was coughing towards the line, which is why I didn't pit Jamie to second in the feature race, which shows how much how accurate my fuel numbers are in the pit stop, which is why I'm always hopefully one of the shortest people in the pit stop. But this time was a bit too much, but then I didn't want to take the extra litre either, so I don't know which one was better. Yeah, the feature race was tricky actually, because I would have been with Sam on the exit if I hadn't got tangled up with Andrew on the in lap, which gave me the damage and cost me 2 seconds minimum, which is the gap that I had to Sam after the pit stop. So without that, it would have been an entirely different second half to the race. But it was fun driving racing with Stephen. I'm still getting used to the TCR cars again. Last time I drove them was ITCR, and that was when there was only the Audi, and they didn't have the cold tyre stuff. So it's taking some getting used to. I'm relearning them. But I will get there. It's just a case of time.
Yeah, well, you're certainly getting somewhere with a second and a third in I'm going to say a very talented field. There's going to be some head swelling now, and I'm sure I can think of something to put on Discord to knock everybody down again. But when you get results like that in this series, and you're finding this out as well in the V8s, to get a decent result, you really have to earn it, don't you? There's no gimmies in this league.
Oh yeah, the field's ridiculous at the moment. It's I haven't been able to jump into it like you'd expect. It has taken time to get used to it again. It's helped this time, but it's a draft track, which means that as long as you're within a couple of temps or within a fair gap of the car in front, you can catch them. You can see that I'm still a few temps off of Sam because we wasn't able to close on him in that second half of the feature race. He had. I was about 2 temps slower per lap without any draft, and then with the draft, we were able to be about equal, or maybe 2 temps faster. So that was the difference. But it's only 2 temps, and I've just got to find it. So yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, and if anybody's going to find it, I'm sure it's going to be you. So before we let you go, Simon, any shout outs you want to give?
Yep, you guys for the broadcast, the league, all that. It's fun to watch back. Jamie for 99% of that race, apart from the one where he bumped me into turn one and gave me a slide, which wasn't his fault. It was netcode, but still, I'm blaming him. And everyone in the race, because doing turn one and the bus stop on twice in these field of cars with cold tyres and nothing catastrophic happening was good going.
It certainly was, yeah. Turn one was amazing in both races. We have to give the drivers credit for that. Well, congratulations on a couple of fantastic results for you tonight, Simon, and hopefully we'll see you next time out.
You won't see me next time. I'm missing Barcelona because my VI headset has an issue. So, yeah, I'll see you for Watkins Glen, and then it goes back for the RMA.
Oh, okie dokie. All right. Well, I hope you get that sorted out pretty quickly. And whatever you do in the meantime, we wish you well.
Yep. See you then, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Simon. Okay. Last but not least, it's Mr. Jamie Wilson. Welcome to the booth.
Hello.
And welcome back to the front pointy end of the grid.
Yeah, rare occurrence.
It probably hasn't, but it seems like a while. But two fantastic results tonight, a fourth and a second. I did have a chuckle. People may or may not know, but I've been slowly sifting through the historic results to get some stats together for this series. And I think if there was a prize for the most fifth places ever, I think you would claim it.
Well, that's something, I guess. It was good. We kind of... I don't know if Simon said the same thing or not, but the kind of flattered by the Honda's relative performance here, certainly against the Audi with its gearing issue. So, this and probably Monza are going to be the two tracks where the Honda has the most sort of advantage that we could exploit and get ourselves up at the front there. I think as we go to other tracks, certainly twistier ones, it's not going to be as bad as Okayama was. That was terrible for us in Honda, but generally speaking, it should be a lot closer.
Yeah, and race one, you was right in the mix, wasn't you? But I don't know. Did you have a bad bus stop or something? You just couldn't seem to get into that three wide photo finish at the end.
Yeah, I was the best I could do in that situation was try and push Simon further towards, but I just couldn't quite get there. Yeah, I think I might have had a bit of a sketchy bus stop. The way that Simon and I had different setups for this, we sort of went our own way. I went more of a sort of telemetry sort of route and because we were trying to figure the car out. We still haven't really dialed into it yet. It's been quite a long time since we raced a TCR car, and it wasn't this one when it was. My car was basically set up to be a shopping trolley apart from on the straight. As you may have been able to tell, I had all sorts of arms and elbows flying around, particularly into turn one. The bus stop every lap was a different adventure, a novel way for it to screw you over every time you hit a weird bump or whatever. So, yeah, sometimes I had amazing runs through there, sometimes I had some pretty average ones, and sometimes it sort of took a hop sideways, then it kind of pogos a bit and you run over the grass. So, not enough to kill your run completely, but enough to just take the edge off it. So that's why whenever I was bump drafting Simon or others at various points, I would catch them at different points. It was just how I managed to get through the bus stop on that given lap.
Yeah, and then obviously the feature race takes Sam out of the equation. Yourself, Simon, and Stephen. It was a fantastic battle to watch because, on a draft track, you're there with a teammate, you're going to have the advantage over the lone soldier, but you still got to make the most of that. And, Stephen got past a couple of times. We see Simon pushing you and the pair of you going past again, and then I was unsure what to expect on that last run to the finish line, I didn't know whether Simon was just going to push you like mad and make sure that you got second, which in theory should have dragged him into third, whether you was going to go side by side and try and make Stephen go the long way round to pip you. Was there a conversation that went on as to what you was going to do, or did you just, play it as you saw it?
Yeah, we didn't really have much of a conversation about it. Simon needed to be behind me at the end there because he was ever so slightly short on fuel. So, the lesser of the evils in that situation is to sort of take the lead. I had a fuel surplus, so, try and sort of equal it out, and then whatever happens on the last lap happens on the last lap. Been in that position before in iRacing special events, in the old Jetta days and things, the Raw before the 2.4 back in the day, being 5 wide going into there in the last lap and it all ending in tears. So I've got some good screenshots of that from like 2014 or 2013 or something. But yeah, it was just a case of hold on for dear life. I saw cars going either side of me. Simon just happened to cough at the last split second. I think that was enough to then have him sort of slot in between me and Stephen.
Yeah, well, two really, really exciting finishes for us to watch anyway, and I'm sure you guys will see them in all their glory when you watch this back. But we go to the Barcelona and the national layout next week. Is that a layout that you've done before at Barcelona?
It is, not in iRacing though. I used to do that. I remember a race there in GTR2 many, many years ago. It was probably the last one I did around there. There was Barcelona Club on a week 13 schedule once. That's quite an interesting one as well. But yeah, I mean I remember we did GTCC around the full circuit there. It's probably my most recent Barcelona experience. It's a good track. I really like the track. I even like the chicane because I'm a weirdo. So
yeah, I think to be honest, weirdness apart, you are probably one of only a few people that do actually enjoy Barcelona. A lot of people find it very, I don't know, boring. I think is
generic,
the word
I suppose. Yeah,
yeah.
That's how I feel about Watkins Glen that everyone else loves. It's just generic track.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've always liked Barcelona. It's a track that's got a bit of an unfair reputation. Hungaroring is another one. Just based on the fact there were a lot of very boring F1 races there for many years, but that doesn't mean it's a bad track. It just meant that the racing that happened to happen in F1 wasn't very good. You could say the same thing about Kota. A lot of people hate Kota. I think it's pretty good, especially the short layouts there are really good.
I think I've changed my mind. You are a weirdo.
Yeah, yeah. I like ones like that. I like Rudskogen that's going to be coming up later on in the season. That's a fantastic track. I like Winton. Not many people like that. Snetterton. Not many people like that. So yeah, I have peculiar taste when it comes to tracks, I suppose.
Okay, well, I think we should actually leave it there because I think you could be going down in the estimations of a number of viewers at the moment. A couple of obviously fantastic results for you tonight. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to Simon for being a good pusher and pushy, I suppose. As well as obviously a good teammate. To the Spectre 6 boys.
So wrong.
I know it did.
So many levels.
Just move on from it. It didn't happen. To the Spectre 6 boys and Carl as well for putting a load of sessions up in the week as well. This one needed a lot of sort of testing and setup, fettling and stuff. So it was good to be running in packs with them in practice. That's probably a reason why it was so clean as well, because we were already used to driving that close to each other in from those sessions. So yeah, and obviously to you guys as always for putting it on.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth. Again, congratulations on a couple of fantastic results, and hopefully we'll see you up at the pointy end of the grid a lot more. Jamie Wilson, thanks for joining us.
Cheers, guys.
Good night, Jamie.
Okay, so that's our interviews over tonight, guys. we're gonna go straight to the pressure pot that is driver of the evening, and because I know King Alan is never prepared for this, we're going to go to him first.
Well, in that case, after very short and dubious consideration, I'm going to plump for Carl Hardy, surprisingly.
There's not many things in life that shock me, but that has really shocked me.
Yes, I thought I'd pull a rabbit out there and give everybody a really surprising choice for my driver of the evening, Carl Hardy, captain of Resort Clothing, awesome racing team.
Yeah, to be fair, I do. Carl certainly had the speed tonight. He won the photo finish, didn't he, in the sprint race, but managed to spit himself off the track in the feature race to a point where he just couldn't recover. But yeah, no, I can see why you've
he maintained that gap even against those guys, who were using their toe and everything. He still kept that gap. And that was a really fine performance for lap after lap. After being disappointed, he still kept his head down and drove hard. Yeah, all credit to my captain.
Yeah, okay. And Sam, let's go to you for your driver of the evening, please.
I'll pick nobody.
Holy cow. Excuse me. Sorry, I was just trying to find our race calendar and I've clicked on something and got a calendar up from donkeys years ago. So, apologies. Carry on.
Yeah, I say nobody.
Really?
Well, they almost all deserve a vote, so it's tough.
Well, I'm sorry, Sam, but I'm not letting you get away with that.
Okay, well, Jamie then.
I was going to say, being part of this team, you've got to get those splinters out of your backside and vote for somebody. So, a vote for Jamie Wilson?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Overall,
a good
better
vote
performance
because
than usual. It's good to see
Yeah.
him once again race on the last race. It's good.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I would have
as I
chosen
said,
him if I hadn't
I
had
think-
Carl.
Yeah, I think
in
95%
fairness.
of the field deserve a vote today, so it's the same every week. So
Yeah, I must admit, I think Jamie did fantastically well tonight. So I can see why your vote went that way. But I have my new old tactic going on this season in the driver of the evening vote, and I'm looking at drivers that put two races together, and I think from that point of view, I'm going to have to go with Sam Blease, because I think, despite what Simon said, I think Sam was tactically astute in race 2, and after me saying before round 1 that I'm not going to see any double winners this season, and Spencer McCarthy proving me wrong straight away, I then nearly said before tonight's broadcast that there's absolutely no way that anybody is going to take a double win around Daytona. And although he didn't, Sam Blease was, 3 inches away from a double win round here. So I'm going to give my vote to Mr. Sam Blease.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely enthralling, I think. I love the tactical side of Daytona and the fact that it's very, very difficult for people to get away from other people. So, yeah, that's going to be my vote tonight. It's going to be Sam Blease. So, guys, I have been desperately trying to find the broadcast calendar, and I've just found it. So, hey, that's rounds 3 and 4 over of the BSTV TCR challenge. Coming up in the next 7 days, we are back in V8 ESC action on Saturday. We've had some more sign-ups since the last time we raced. So we have every chance of getting a 40-car grid.
Wow.
And that's going to be round Watkins Glen, and it's also a 2-hour endurance race. So I am really looking forward to that one on Saturday night. And as we spoke about with a couple of the guys in the interviews, next Wednesday we're back in action in this series with rounds 5 and 6 from the national circuit at Barcelona. And I did manage to sneak a quick look, and it's not that much smaller than the full circuit. There's just one bit that's missed out, but we know what these drivers are like, and we know what show they can put on anyway, so that's going to be absolutely fantastic. So that's what we've got coming up. Obviously, as usual, make sure you drop this video a like, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also make sure you follow us on our brand new Facebook page. It just leaves me to say goodnight, let the guys say goodnight, and then we will close the broadcast. I can finally get to bed. I have no idea what Sam's doing, but it probably involves eating, and no doubt Alan will be taking his teeth out and trying to get all the toffee out of them. It's a big good night from me. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all the drivers. Thanks to everybody that joins in on the chat. Make sure you tune in next time and stay safe. So good night, everybody, from me.
Good night, folks. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here this evening. It's been great racing and great company, and I bid you farewell till the next time.
And good night, everybody. See you next time.